I'm Brittany Lewis with Forbes Breaking News. On Friday, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis responded to the Supreme Court's decision in West Virginia versus EPA. The decision makes it more challenging for the Environmental Protection Agency to regulate greenhouse gases and fight climate change. 6 justices ruled in favor of Republican-led states and coal companies that asked the court to limit how much the EPA can control emissions from power plants. DeSantis, widely considered a possible 2024 presidential contender and a Republican who often touts his own environmental record, was asked for his response. Let's take a listen.
Well, we'll be publishing that executive order today. I'm excited to be able to make some headway here, and this is just one additional step. But of course, we're going to look to do more, as time goes on. So I want to thank everybody for coming here. And with that, take some questions. Yes, sir. Yeah, so we saw, it was a good question. So what prompted us to kind of look closer at this? Last year, the state of Ohio did a big settlement with one of the insurers. And, these are insurers that are involved in Florida too. And so we started to look, okay, where is this? Because it was a pretty significant amount of money. And so we're like, all right, it's not budget dust here we're talking about. So we started to look, and I asked them, the problem was, this is not something Florida had really done before, and 2, it's very opaque in terms of what goes on behind the curtain. So the state will have, have a relationship with like the insurers, but then what goes on beyond that, very difficult to get a full handle on. So they did a lot of deep dive into this, and they've identified these practices that are contributing to the increase in prescription drug costs. Yes, ma'am.
The recent decision by the Supreme Court to go after some of the bureaucracies, will that help you in a lawsuit?
So the question is about, I think you're talking about the EPA decision. So the Supreme Court just ruled 6-3, and honestly, if you believe in the constitutional structure at all of our government, this was a no-brainer decision. And the idea is, we have people that get elected to the House and Senate. They can legislate policy, and if they pass legislation that's signed into law, the policy's implemented. Well, what a lot of people on the left have wanted to do over the years is say, well, Congress isn't doing what we want, and so we're just going to go ahead and do it through the administrative state anyways, even though it's never had firm legislative sanction. That's a runaway bureaucracy. That's a bureaucracy that is not tethered to the constitutional structure. And so I think if you've seen over the years, we're supposed to have 3 branches of government. You're supposed to have legislative, executive, and judicial. It's really developed in the 4 branches of government because you have this permanent bureaucracy that's functioning as a leviathan that even when elections happen, it can kind of have a mind of its own. And so that decision, I think, was very important overall. How much that will impact what we're doing here in terms of the FDA, I don't know, because I think clearly Congress did enact a statute saying that if we want to buy drugs from Canada, that we do need federal sanction on that. And so that's what we're going through. I think what they ruled correctly that the EPA overreached was because the EPA is legislating effectively and having huge impact on our economy and individuals without having a legislative sanction. And so that's an important decision. Yes, ma'am.